Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wandara Sugweda, and in this channel we talk about all things personal finance, understanding all the savings and investment vehicles and tools, ensuring that we rightfully use them towards our goals and ultimately achieve that financial freedom. So if you feel like that's something that you want to do, something that you're interested in doing, make sure that you join us by subscribing to this channel, and also make sure that you ring that bell so that you get notified every time I post a video. So as you may have seen with the caption of this video, today I want to give you 4 pointers that you need to consider before setting up savings goals. And this is something that I do with all my clients before we start any coaching session, because you need to actually understand what your goals are. Like, what is it that you're setting up and how relevant is it for you? Okay, so pointer number 1, you need to understand what it is that you're saving for, right? A lot of times people actually just save, right? They just put certain amount of money, and then the risk with that is whenever a temptation comes of withdrawing that money, they can easily go and withdraw, because really, if you're not saving for anything, this money might as well just be for anything, right? So when you're trying to save, it's very important that you link your savings amount towards a certain goal. Let's say, for an example, if you want to buy a house and you want to save for lawyers, you need to make sure that you know lawyer fees, approximately how much you want to save for lawyer fees, and then you allocate a certain percentage of your income towards that lawyer fee savings goal that you have. So this is one of the things that actually helps you with the discipline of not dipping into the amount in which you're saving, right? Because you know for sure what you want to do with it, and you need to make sure that this thing that you are saving for, it's a priority for you. So the way you want to do this is by listing all the goals that you have, and actually take the ones which you want to work on the year 2023. We're going to focus on 2023. What is it that you want to prioritize in the year 2023? It must be something that matters and something that is aligned with where you want to go long term, right? So that when you think about withdrawing, you know you're stealing from yourself, right? So you want to make sure that you understand what you're saving for. So understanding what you're saving for also helps you to narrow down the type of saving tool that you're going to use. Let's say, for an example, you have a lump sum already, and with that lump sum you want to put it away so that in future you can be able to use this money to pay for your fees. So you can use a fixed deposit account, you can use government retail bond, you can use a fixed product, because you know for sure that you're not going to need this money for the long term. But if you're looking for to save on a month-to-month basis, this thing that you want to save for, it's something which you want to save on a month-to-month basis, then you can choose an account which will actually allow you to deposit money into it. As you know, fixed deposit account doesn't allow you to put money in there, right? Second point, I think this is the third point, but we'll go with second. Second point, you need to make sure that your goals are realistic, right? SMART goal says your goal must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be attainable. And this realistic thing, it's the attainability part, right? And it must be relevant and it must be time bound. Okay, so let's talk about this attainability, right? A lot of times we want to do things and we are happy about doing these things, but really, do we have the capacity to do those things? Let's say, for an example, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you also want to go back to school and pay for your fees, right? This is a lot of things that you want to do at the same time, right? In as much as you want to, and it's good goals, you really need to make sure that your income can do those things. How do you do that? You need to make sure that you have a budget. Guys, I don't know how many times I've spoken about budget in this channel, but your budget actually tells you how much capability your income has, because you will put your expenses together, you will know your income, and then you will do the difference, and the difference is your disposable income. Within that disposable income, you will allocate certain percentage to your car, certain percentage to your house, and certain percentage to your school. If that money is allocated and you're still able to breathe, then you're capable of doing that. But if you find that you cannot breathe right after doing those allocation, you need to do step number 3, which is making the adjustment. And you need to do this before setting up the goals, so that after this exercise, really you know which goals you're going for. Make the adjustment, guys. Like, adjustment could mean that you need to get extra income, because sometimes you cannot cut off your expenses, and sometimes it's not realistic for you to cut down your expenses. You can get to sell Avon, you can get to sell Herbalife, you can get to do side hustles, you can get a promotion, you can get an additional job, so that you can be able to save for those things. However, if you feel like your money has more capabilities than you're actually attaining, you need to assess your expenses. You need to check, what are you subscribed to? Can you live without those things, right? For an example, for me, I had a phone contract, I had a router contract. It was just like a lot of this and that. So I cut down my router because I have fiber, and I paid up my phone because I had a work router, so that at least I know that money that I cut down, I think for phone it was 800 per month, and for a router it was about 200. So I was able to cut down that 1,000 rand. Of course I needed to have a lump sum of money that I could use to pay up my phone and to pay up the remaining of the contract on the router, but that allowed me to at least have a flexibility of 1,000 rand, which I could reallocate it elsewhere. And for me, I was actually paying more towards my car, right? The last one, a savings account, the type of savings account that you want to use. Guys, different account behaves differently, and I think I've mentioned this earlier. Different account behaves differently. You need to understand, what does your goal require? If it requires you to put down money on a monthly basis, please get an account that has accessibility towards your funds, so that you can put down that money. And for an example, if your goal is to save for an emergency fund, right, you cannot put an emergency fund money within a fixed deposit account. So therefore, you need to look into an account with accessibility, so whenever you have an emergency, you can access that money. Because if you put your money into a fixed deposit account because it has a higher interest rate, and an emergency happens, and then because you can't access it, you have to wait for 32 days, or you have to go and borrow money elsewhere, which defies the purpose of actually having an emergency fund. So make sure that the account that you choose is aligned with the goal in which you are planning for. Cheers, guys. That's it. I hope this is helpful. Please give me a purple heart if you watched towards the end, and also highlight for me which you think was your nugget out of this video. Guys, I love you. Please subscribe and comment and share this video. Goodbye.